Greetings people, it's Jared here, Wolfgang1, back to do another Transformers review. Now today I'm going to be reviewing something that I've had in my collection for a very long time now, probably about 10 years or so. Always thought very highly of this figure, as sadly I'm going to be passing it on to somebody who's going to take just as much enjoyment out of it as I have, because I want to try and avoid character duplicates wherever possible in terms of the newer lines. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be taking a look at Generations Warpath. Okay, so here is Generations Warpath in his H tank mode. So it kind of gives the impression of like a Cybertronian tank mode, if you will. K4-90W Kapow just on there as referencing his particular trademark catchphrase by making gun blast sounds and like saying sounds and things like that. The H tank thing is, for me, a very successful alt mode. Additional weaponry up here. Now, speaking of weaponry, he comes with this missile, this spring-loaded missile, which will fit into that compartment just there, and will fire varying degrees of success, depending on whether or not that mechanism wants to work. There we are. Didn't work. Hold on. There we are. Whatever. That went out of focus. Who cares? Warpath is... I kind of felt this would have been a decent Cybertronian version for him. Almost like a reference, maybe, or maybe the game actually referenced this. I don't know, but there's a character model of Warpath and generic Autobots in there, which do sort of fit the aesthetic for the robot mode for this quite nicely. There's some great paint detailing on the tank treads and things like that. And a little bit of paint accents here, there, and everywhere. You can detach these things here and move them onto these like sort of bars just here. So if I was to pull off the rocket launcher, all right, can't do that. You're basically supposed to be able to pull these two things off and attach them to other ports and posts throughout the tank's body. It's not working here, but just take my word for it. That's what it does. The turret does spin around a full 360, which is lovely. The gun barrel will actually go up and down a little bit, which is very nice. You've got a little bit of articulation in alt mode, which is pretty cool. Now, Generations Warpath was kind of difficult to get hold of. I remember getting this from Forbidden Planet during a geek meetup quite a few years ago now, and this was the last one they had on the shelf. So I scooped this up with no thoughts for anybody else who was in the group, really, which I kind of feel bad about, but only to a certain degree. I'm not going to be keeping this, however. As much as I love this figure, I have the Kingdom Warpath now, which I kind of feel has supplanted this one a little bit. There's still a place in any collection for this. It's just that I try not to have duplicates of too many figures. Sort of like duplication of like sort of characters. So I'm happily letting this one go to somebody who I know is going to absolutely adore having this on the shelf. The only other thing Warpath came with was an instruction booklet. So there we are, showing that off. So yeah, he's pretty nifty in this mode. He does roll thanks to the little plastic wheels just on the bottoms just here. And there's a lot. This alt mode is covered, as you can see, the light reflection of it, covered in sculpted detail absolutely throughout. You can't fault that whatsoever. Apart from that, there's not really a lot to say about the alt mode, really. Sort of questioning like the H tank format. When I initially got it, I wasn't sure of the H tank format, but I've got to say that over the years, the alt mode has really grown on me, and has been a like sort of for other tanks going forward. They've adopted like sort of the H tank format. Off the top of my head, I can't think of the ones that spring to mind, but you've seen it to some degree or another. So transforming this guy is relatively simple, although this is one of my reviews, so I expect this to be an absolute fucking pain in the ass. Let's start by bringing up this entire assembly just here, just like unpeg that, just like this. Separate the forward sections, and then bring all the way down like this. And then we're going to start doing fuck knows what with it. I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. Let's zoom out a little bit. Right, okay. So we want to bring that tank tread down, and then we want to bring the entire thing around like this, and that will basically form the leg. Okay, so tank tread down. You know, this is really stiff, this one. Bloody hell. This is a testament to how much I don't really mess around with these things. There we are, down like that, and then close that up, and then that's the leg section done. Okay, so he's got nice chunky boots. Okay, which is great. Up to this section just here, we're going to start by getting these parts out of the way, and then this section just here, we're going to open this up and extend the arm. Okay, like that, and then fold out the hand, close this panel back up. Okay, so let's do the same on both sides for that. Open this up, extend the arm, flip out the hand. How much of this have I got on camera? Who fucking knows? Close this panel back up. That will form the arm. Okay, then we're going to come on to the torso section, and this is the section I really like. This is really, really clever engineering. This grey tab just here, we're going to fold that in and then collapse in on itself one more time, like that, and that will bring down the thorax section, like that, and then bring the whole assembly and clip it into place, like this. Okay, get these sections out of the way, and then for the head reveal, we want to push the barrel in, and that will push this panel up and should reveal the head, like that. Almost instantaneous transformation. You can't do much about this panel. It would have been nice if this panel had flipped all the way around, but whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, that right there is Generations Warpath in his robot mode, and he looks fantastic. Maybe a little bit of paint to pick out the eyes that wasn't black might have been nice. These things are multi-directional, so we can put his missile in there, and then that can fire if it wants to. Doesn't come with a hand weapon. Doesn't come with a hand weapon, but you know, he's armed to the teeth anyway, so maybe he doesn't need it. Yeah, got a little bit of articulation in the places you expect to find articulation. The head spins around full 360. The arms do this. The legs do a variety of things. Yeah, that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is Warpath, and he is cool. I really, really, really like this figure. I'm going to be sad to let him go, actually, truth be told, but yeah, I've got the Kingdom Warpath now. I don't need two Warpaths in my collection. Having said that, I will be keeping the Generation 1 version. Yeah, there he is. There he is. He's decent. He is decent. And the fact that, you know, this design holds up after like sort of 10 years or whatever it was, speaks volumes about the toy. I can't get any decent lighting on him, mind you. There we are. That's not too bad. Yeah, if you can get hold of this guy, do it, because he is still a decent little bot. He's got a chunky alt mode. He's got a chunky robot mode. Not the lightest deluxe I've ever handled in my life. There feels a little bit of weight to him, mostly in his legs. But yeah, he is a fantastic troop builder. He really is. If you were looking for, like, I don't know, half a dozen generic battle droids for your Autobot army, then this design here, painted into several different variation colours, would be the one you would go for. Yeah, great little bot, decent amount of articulation, amazing sculpted detail on him, and fun to mess around with, which is the most important thing. He is fun to mess around with, and not a disappointment in either mode, which is sort of a rarity when it comes to modern day Transformers. There's always something to really nitpick about. The only thing I can find to nitpick about is the fact that this panel doesn't fold back round or clip in or do anything. It just sits there behind his head. Apart from that, yeah, that's Generation 1 Warpath. No, it's not. It's fucking Generations Warpath. Fucking get it right, dickhead. So that's my review, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching this. I'm Gerald Gavenberry, also known as Wolfgang1, saying I'll be back next week with more interesting shit like this. Until we see each other again, thank you for watching, and take care.
will tomorrow